Coming up next, we go to Maxwell Air Force Base in Montgomery, Alabama, for a speech by President George Bush. He spoke there Saturday morning to the Air War and Air Command and Staff colleges. The president's speech was the first of 4 policy addresses he plans to deliver on the New World Order. It focused on changes in Europe and the post-Cold War relationship between the superpowers. President Bush also used the opportunity to pledge his support to the Kurdish refugees in Iraq, stating, however, that American soldiers would not be sent to intervene. We go now to Maxwell Air Force Base and President George Bush.
Here at Air University, it's your business to read the lessons of the past with an eye on the far horizon. And that's why I wanted to speak to you today about the new world taking shape around us, about the prospects for a new world order now within our reach. For more than 4 decades, we've lived in a world divided, east from west, a world locked in a conflict of arms and ideas called the Cold War. 2 systems, 2 superpowers, separated by mistrust and unremitting hostility. For more than 4 decades, America's energies were focused on containing the threat to the free world from the forces of communism. That war is over. East Germany has vanished from the map as a separate entity. Today in Berlin, the wall that once divided a continent, divided a world in 2, has been pulverized, turned into souvenirs, and the sections that remain standing are but museum pieces. The Warsaw Pact passed into the pages of history last week. Not with a bang, but with a whimper. Its demise reported in a story on page A16 of the Washington Post. In the coming weeks, I'll be talking in some detail about the possibility of a new world order emerging after the Cold War. And in recent weeks, I've been focusing not only on the Gulf, but on free trade, on the North American Free Trade Agreement, the Uruguay round, trade negotiations, and the essentiality of obtaining from the United States Congress a renewal of fast-track authority to achieve our goals. But today, I want to discuss another aspect of that order, our relations with Europe and the Soviet Union. Twice this century, a dream born on the battlefields of Europe died after the shooting stopped. The dream of a world in which major powers work together to ensure peace, to settle their disputes through cooperation, not confrontation. Today, a transformed Europe stands closer than ever before to its free and democratic destiny. At long last, Europe is moving forward, moving toward a new world of hope. At the same time, we and our European allies have moved beyond containment to a policy of active engagement in a world no longer driven by Cold War tensions and animosities. You see, as the Cold War drew to an end, we saw the possibilities of a new order in which nations work together to promote peace and prosperity. I'm not talking here of a blueprint that will govern the conduct of nations or some supranatural structure or institution. The New World Order does not mean surrendering our national sovereignty or forfeiting our interests. It really describes a responsibility imposed by our successes. It refers to new ways of working with other nations to deter aggression and to achieve stability, to achieve prosperity, and above all, to achieve peace. It springs from hopes for a world based on a shared commitment among nations large and small to a set of principles that undergird our relations: peaceful settlements of disputes, solidarity against aggression, reduced and controlled arsenals, and just treatment of all peoples. This order, this ability to work together, got its first real test in the Gulf War. For the first time, a regional conflict, the aggression against Kuwait, did not serve as a proxy for superpower confrontation. For the first time, the United Nations Security Council, free from the clash of Cold War ideologies, functioned as its designers intended, a force for conflict resolution and collective security. In the Gulf, nations from Europe and North America, Asia and Africa, and the Arab world joined together to stop aggression and sent a signal to would-be tyrants everywhere in the world. By joining forces to defend one small nation, we showed that we can work together against aggressors in defense of principle. We also recognized that the Cold War's end didn't deliver us into an era of perpetual peace. As old threats recede, new threats emerge. The quest for the new world order is in part a challenge to keep the dangers of disorder at bay. We must build on the successes of Desert Storm to give new shape and momentum to this new world order. To use force wisely and extend the hand of compassion wherever we can. Today, we welcome Europe's willingness to shoulder a large share of this responsibility. But this process of reform, this transformation from within, must proceed if external cooperation and our progress toward true international peace is to endure. It must succeed. Only when this transformation is complete will we be able to take full measure of the opportunities presented by this new and evolving world order. The new world order really is a tool for addressing a new world of possibilities. This order gains its mission and shape not just from shared interests, but from shared ideals.